What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Inside the Horseshoe. It's been a little bit, but we're back. I am Matt, your host for today. We're going to be talking about the NFL playoffs this weekend. We're going to give our picks for some of the awards like Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year on both offense and defense, Coach of the Year, all that good stuff. And we'll talk about the Deshaun Watson rumor that came up not too long ago. We're going to go around the table, though, before we get into that. First, we're going to introduce Steve the Pirate. How you doing, Steve?
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm doing good. Excited for this Wildcard weekend. The Browns made it, so you know that 2020 ended pretty good with the Browns making the playoffs. So, yeah, I'm excited to talk about what's going on this weekend.
The name redacted.
It's been 19 years, but you guys are back.
Back
We'll
at
see
it.
if the result's different. But we're going to bounce over to Shake and Baker. Bruce, how you doing, Bruce?
Hey man, doing good. Ready for this weekend. It's gonna be a really good weekend of wildcard games, and excited to watch my Browns play Sunday night. Kevin Stefanski, man, first year in there, got us in the playoffs, like you said, after 19 years. So I'm excited to see what Baker got. I think it's gonna be good, man. I think it's gonna be a good game.
Nice. All right, and then we're going to go to Jonathan. Jonathan, how you doing with that sweet jersey that you got on right now?
Finally, it's been a long 5 years, but the name redacted finally made the playoffs. And I got my lucky Chantel jersey right here So, long time coming. Awesome D.
There you go. Yeah, that defense is really good, though, especially that defensive front. Definitely going to need it this weekend for sure to come in. I mean, Chase Young, he said he wants Brady. It's who he wants. So, we'll see if he has to eat his words because Tom Brady, he tends to make people eat their words when they start talking smack. But hey, Chase Young, he's good enough. He can get through that offensive line, I think. So we'll see if he causes some problems or not. So first, before we get into the awards and our picks for today, I do want to talk about the Deshaun Watson news that came up the last few days. As I bring up that image, we're slowly getting up there in quality. But there were rumors that Deshaun Watson wants to be traded. Some people think it might be because of just how the front office is, handling their job, some of the decisions they're making. So I'm going to go around. I'm going to start with Steven. What are your thoughts on Deshaun Watson, potentially wanting to be traded? And do you think he will be? And if he does, where do you think he should go?
Well, I think it's crazy that I don't think it's crazy he wants to be traded because he's been so much his career at Houston so far. But it's just crazy if Houston's thinking about trading him. I don't understand why. He's a franchise quarterback. So it's like, why would you want to do that? Do I think he's going to get traded? I don't think he will. But I think the Texans will be dumb to trade a great quarterback like Deshaun Watson. But if he does, I don't know where he's going to go. There's a lot of teams that can. There's New England, but I don't know. But I'm hearing that they're going to try to get quarterback in the offseason. So maybe New England. The Colts. I think Rivers is going to retire this year, so the Colts can go after him. 49ers saying they're going with Jimmy G, so Niners could go after him. A lot of teams that can want to swipe in there and take them, they can. So I don't think they should, but if they do, I wonder what they're going to get out of it.
All right. We'll go over to Jonathan. What are your thoughts on everything, and where do you think he could end up if traded?
My thing about this situation with Deshaun is I felt like he is too good of a player to be part like this currently right now, kind of an awful team. Well, on the verge of being that bad. I know they did that bad this year, though, but without basically not enough cap space, you don't get your first round picks, by the way. They should have to trade, but the limited Tunsil trade to Miami. They don't have legit anything they needed to basically help Deshaun, though, basically. And if you watch the video of J.J. Watt telling them, we're sorry you kind of wasted your career. And basically just saying, I'm sort of the same way, might worry that might turn to fate, Matt Stafford. very good stat and numbers right here, stuck with pretty much a mediocre team around him, so no help him necessarily. So that's my biggest fear for him right here. If he keeps going around it, it depends on sort of the head coach they're going to hire like that. And even with that, though, he was sort of mad that he didn't get at least a say or even talked about in advance. It's like, hey, we're going to hire this new general manager. And I think, are you cool with this along with it? And should have at least talked to him about it, or even at least the coach, though. And even with Houston, didn't even, unless one of the best candidates around the coaching block was Eric Bieniemy, basically. And that's, I can tell Deshaun's thinking, it's like, man, I kind of wish I would have had those type of teams like Kansas City's been doing along with it. And even some other teams along with that. And I felt like Deshaun just feel like getting down throughout right there. And speaking of teams, I'm not going to sort of homer with this because your team, Indianapolis, might need him, but let's just say like Washington wanted him because they got a huge cap space. They have really a well-established defense right here. And we got some very good offensive weapons inside the ball with Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson, and Logan Thomas. And I think, let's just say hypothetically, we'll get Deshaun. I think we just need one missing piece along with our offense. Which, especially we love Alex Smith and does very good up to the team. He's not a long-term solution. Let's just say we get Deshaun, and I think it might be a long-term solution, though. And on the other teams, I would think, if he decides when to trade, I think Chicago might need it, or maybe Carolina might be very interesting with him. So that's my personal thoughts on this situation.
Okay. Now we'll go over to Bruce. What are your thoughts on this, and who do you think could be a team that would trade for him if it actually came to be?
Well, Deshaun Watson, him and the front office have definitely been butting heads. He's not on the same page. He wants out. You could tell he wants out. He's not happy at all. Like Steve said, he doesn't. I personally think that the Texans and him are going to part ways after this season. I think it's already a done deal. They're just trying to figure out what team can offer the best pieces for him. And I think that team, the Colts, I really do. I think the Colts are going to end up pulling him in after this season, and he'll fit in perfect there because the Colts got some young talent on the offense. Jonathan Taylor looked really good this season. They get I'm not sure the situation with Marlon Mack. Is he going to be coming back next year?
They haven't said yet, but because of that injury, I think they can bring him back for less than what he was originally wanting before that torn ACL or whatever he had.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because I really think he's a good running back too. But they still have Hines. They got some good receivers in Pittman and Pascal showing up this year, so I think he'll be happier there. And I just think he wasn't on the same page. Like I don't think anybody was on the same page with the Hopkins trade. After that, it just kind of fell off. Like why are you getting rid of his best weapon? You're leaving him with nobody. So. Sure. I think he's eventually going to get traded. It's kind of a sucky situation because, he spent so much time in Houston. You can tell he really loves playing there, but it's like the front office and him aren't seeing eye to eye. So I think the Colts, they'll pick up his contract and they'll make it work.
True. So with the Deshaun Watson situation, I kind of joked around with Alec that T.Y. Hilton was recruiting him after that game when he came up, and you had Deshaun looking sad, and I'm going to try to find that picture. But T.Y. runs up to him, to kind of talk to him because he clearly looked upset, which proves why T.Y. is just a great human being in general. Okay, I can't find the image. Whatever. But I was joking around that, he was going to recruit him. And now it feels like maybe he was, because you can tell he's not happy. Now, if I'm Houston, I would try try everything, to keep him, because they did just sign him last season or in the offseason to that pretty big contract, which, I believe next year he's owed $21 million. So really for quarterbacks, it's not too bad. I believe most of the money's coming in like year 3 and 4. But it's right now a contract I think a lot of teams would be interested in. So if I'm Houston, I honestly I would cut J.J. Watt because that's not going to cost you anything. You either will keep him and pay him $17 million, or cut him because I don't think anybody's going to trade for J.J. Watt with that money because he really didn't have the greatest year ever. If he looked really good, maybe you could have made a trade for him, but you got to cut him at this point. Maybe he'll go to Pittsburgh. Who knows? But the smart thing would be to keep him, and would have been to involve him in the head coach, search, because he is your franchise quarterback. There's been quarterbacks like Peyton Manning where, like Jim Irsay will go to him and be like, hey, what do you think about this? Do you like this? And then, Peyton Manning would say yes or no. I mean, Peyton Manning had the power to, cut players if he wanted to. He'd be like, oh, you dropped a pass or two, you're gone. And then he'd be gone. And Deshaun doesn't have that power, it seems like, in Houston. So I would have worked with him. I do think he is going to leave after this year. Like I said, I think Houston's going to be entering full rebuild mode. I think without having that first and second round pick this year, that's something they're going to really be looking for. You got to include that in your trade. The teams I think he could be traded to, the Colts, I think that's one. They have $93 million in cap space. I think that's very important for them, or very good, I should say. So they can sign him, sign another big weapon for him if he wanted it, and then they'd be good to go. So I'll try to add Jonathan back. I think there we go. He got his computer working. There we go. But I think Indy is a very possible spot for him to go to, but it's very difficult for that to happen, I think, because it is in division. So they got to offer something really, really good. And it's got to be so much better than I think any other trade they're getting for them to trade in the division. So if they don't go with the Colts, I think a team that could be a possible destination for them is Miami. Maybe Miami trades that third pick back to Houston, maybe another first rounder, and then like Tua. So you get your young quarterback because we don't know what Tua's going to do. And then you get, a top 3 pick, and you get I think the 18th pick is what Miami's going to have this year. So you would get those. You get like a second rounder and then a couple more first, second rounders, whatever. So that could be an option. But another option I think that could happen that I haven't really seen be brought up is Dallas. $21 million compared to $40 million. I think Dallas might go for that trade. We know what Deshaun can do. He would have Amari Cooper. He would have Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb. Add another piece on defense with the extra $14 to $19 million. Dallas could be a threat. That defense started to play better too. So Dallas could be an option. I thought that was funny. There's that, and then Jonathan.
Yeah, tell the world.
Did that.
Think about
No, but to get back to it, I think Dallas though is a team to watch out for. But if not Dallas, Indy, or Miami, I don't know. You got to think about maybe Jacksonville. Because what would you do if you're Jacksonville? Draft Trevor Lawrence, who we honestly don't know how good he's going to be. He might be, a franchise quarterback. He might be a top 5 quarterback, but he might be a bust. We've been in situations where these guys look like they're going to be great, and then they end up not being that great. So maybe Houston goes, look, we'll give you Deshaun Watson for your first round pick, maybe another first rounder, a couple more draft picks. Maybe Jacksonville would bite on that if they want to trade in division because, I'm sure Jacksonville will do it because you got a proven guy there. And, a lot of people are hyping Trevor Lawrence to be the next Andrew Luck, John Elway, type of quarterback. So that's where I think he could potentially go to. But it's probably going to be maybe Washington. Washington isn't a bad pull too. They seem to be a quarterback away, so we'll see. So now, before we get into our playoff predictions, whatnot for this weekend, I do want to get into a few of the awards, kind of where we would line them up as far as MVP, offense and defensive player of the year, Same with the rookies, head coach, and then we'll look for we'll talk about worst coach or whatever too. Talk about who was the worst coach in the league. We'll get into that too. So I'm gonna go to Jonathan on this one. We'll go worst coach of the year. Who do you think is the worst coach of the year? And let's take Adam Gase out. Okay, let's not beat on Adam Gase. He's got enough. He's got enough crap talked about him. Okay, poor Adam Gase.
Funny enough, it's not what I'm looking at. I did not pick Adam Gase. I'm going to pick someone. You may say it's worse than Adam Gase. Brandon situation is also his second year in the league. My potential to pick this coach because I don't think he was sort of maybe in retrospect not the right person for this job.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'm a little fearing that he might potentially ruin the career of Joe Burrow. I'm talking about Zach Taylor. The Bengals.
Okay.
Yeah. Cincinnati thought like they might hire a sort of Sean McVay type of efficiency.
Mhm.
If that makes sense. And you can tell that not only he was outmatched for most of his games, not only he lost a lot, but he just didn't have the right fit along with it. So what makes this sort of worse for them is now you've really got a great franchise quarterback, Joe Burrow, started well, and until my team pretty much broke his leg. And along with that, you might know Tony's ACL, LCL, everything else. Now he's out for the year, but you don't even know he might be the same Joe Burrow. So not only that, they have really a lot of issues with that. Not only the offensive line is horrible, but the defense is trash at best. So you didn't get the right situational coach for the help to sort of rebuild your team, and I don't think Zach Taylor is the right guy for it. So they should have been fired like maybe a couple of games going into it. So that'll be Zach Taylor.
Okay. Alrighty. Zach Taylor. Not a bad poll at all. He was not good this year. Now we're gonna go over to Bruce here. Who is your worst coach of the year? I'm gonna pull Jacobs right now. Doug Marrone, or however you spell his name. Yeah, he's definitely up there. Anthony Lynn is definitely in there too. He's one of those guys that just cannot finish the job. But yeah, who do you think is the worst?
Yeah, I actually think Anthony Lynn was the worst coach this year, and I mean, since he's been with the Chargers, it just hasn't been very, very pretty. He has talent on that team, and it shows. Like, I mean, Justin Herbert's a rookie, and look what he did this year. But it's just like the play calling was horrible. I mean, they had injuries. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. They had a bunch of injuries. And
rookie quarterbacks.
Hey, you calm down. All right, I'm saying they had a bunch of injuries. They had a rookie quarterback. He beasted it this year, but it's like still though. I still think with that team, he should have been able to do something a little bit better. And, I mean, his time was done. I think whoever takes over that position is gonna have a lot of great pieces to work with. So,
True.
Yeah, Anthony Lynn, he did really bad. I mean, Doug Marrone did bad too, but I mean, Anthony Lynn, his time was up.
True, and I would have agreed with you in the first 12 games of the year, but they did go on a winning streak too. It looked like they started to kind of figure it out a little bit. I think he's not a good coach, but I wouldn't put him as the worst. I do think him getting fired is not really that surprising. That was a name I kind of thought could be just because how, they'd start out with a lead, but they could never finish it. They always would find a way to blow the game. They were definitely the Atlanta Falcons of the AFC for quite a bit. But for me, I agree with Jacob. Doug Marrone, I think, is the worst coach in the NFL. Last year, he was terrible. He should have been fired last year. And then we see him this year. Yeah, he won a game against the Colts. Good job. I think anybody coaching a Jacksonville team going up against Indy in Jacksonville is going to win because the Colts can never win in Jacksonville. It doesn't matter how good that team is. They always lose in Jacksonville. But, yeah, Doug Marrone, 1-15. Just a pathetic team that they have there. And now they're going to have a new quarterback with Trevor Lawrence. They're going to have a much better coach for sure. Maybe Justin Fields goes there. I don't know. Depends what Urban Meyer wants to do, assuming Urban Meyer is the guy. But to be fair, Urban Meyer will be there for 3 years. He'll end up having some controversy going on. He'll say, "Oh, I'm sick," and then he'll retire. So that's going to happen in Florida, happen in Ohio State. It's going to happen in Jacksonville. So now we're going to go to Steve. Who's your worst coach?
All right, so it has to be Mike McCarthy for Dallas. It's gotta be.
Oh,
Big
man.
Mike over there.
Good pull.
Supposed to be saving the Cowboys, making them go win championships and stuff, and they just suck. So I gotta go with Mike McCarthy. Yes, Dak got hurt, but even before he got hurt, they still won games. So
I mean, you got your bell cow and you got your bell cow and Ezekiel Elliott, and you give him the ball like
great
10 times in 3 games.
That's
like,
what I'm saying. That's coaching. That's bad coaching. And then so I got to go with Mike McCarthy. Of course you got the Doug Marone's. I think Anthony Lynn's a good coach. So I was surprised that he got fired, to be honest. And then you got Bill O'Brien. Yeah, you knew he was gone after this year, anyways. So I wasn't surprised him getting fired. But Mike McCarthy, first year Dallas, having a horrible year. So yeah, him for me is the worst.
Yeah, you see, I would have went with Bill O'Brien at first. That's kind of who I was thinking of, but I think he's a worse GM, so that's kind of why I didn't throw his name in there, because I was like, well, he was definitely, it seemed like more of a GM, like he was a GM as a coach for some reason, and I think that proved that you should never have the same coach, you should never have the same guy as your coach and GM, because it's never going to end up going well. Unless you have like Bill Belichick, he'll work for you. I mean, you could say, what you will with those draft picks and whatnot that he had those last, 5 to 7 years. Not really that great of picks, but, it is what it is. He had some decent guys, but that's all, good. So now we're going to go from worst coach of the year. We're going to go to coach of the year. Just whoever you think is the best coach, all that stuff. We're going to go to Bruce first. Who is your coach of the year?
Well, I mean, there's only one answer. It has to be Kevin Stefanski. I mean, the dude took the Browns, and they granted they have a lot of weapons on that team, and it should have been a lot sooner than what it is this year. Last year they had a great team. They did horrible. Everyone had all these expectations. This year they finally pulled it together. We're finally in the playoffs, and I think the dude, is a great coach. Great offensive mastermind, and I think he got us rolling. I think it's a easy decision with Kevin Stefanski being the coach of the year.
Yeah, I say that is true, Jacob. Say when Dallas has a better GM than you, that's bad. See, Kevin Stefanski is a good pick. I might go Ron Rivera though. The dude battled cancer, or not cancer.
Yeah.
Was it cancer or was it COVID? It was one of the two. But he battled. Oh, sorry, you're a little quiet there, Jonathan.
Sorry, I was just going to say, you kind of spoiled my pick, but I'll get to that more detailed than that. But I'll get finished. I'm sorry.
Oh, good. But he had to go to the hospital. He was sick. He had to fight through that, and then he was able to take Washington, who I don't think anybody thought would be in the playoffs at this point right now, even though they do have a real good defense. But he made the right decision with taking out Dwayne Haskins. Alex Smith came in. Alex Smith is 5-1 as a starter. He was able to turn Washington in from more the bottom of the NFC least to the top of the NFC least and getting into the playoffs with really not a whole lot to work with, I don't think. He made a great decision bringing in the old, I can't remember his name. He was Jacksonville's head coach for a long time. Who? Him. Yeah, they brought him in. Great decision. But yeah, I got to go with him. Sean McDermott, as Jacob said, he's not a bad call. Frank Reich is not a bad call either, because he was able to, turn Phillip Rivers into a non-interception throwing machine, because he went from 20-some interceptions to 11, which is pretty good. And just with kind of what was presented to him, I thought he did a real good job. But I got to go Ron Rivera. Not the greatest of records, but just what he went through in the beginning of the year, and then it was, he was able to turn Washington into, a 7-9, record team to get into the playoffs. Laugh at it all you want, still got in. So, and they're going to beat the Buccaneers. So we're going to go to Steven now. Who do you got? Who do you got as your coach of the year?
Yeah, mine was Ron Rivera too, but if I have to choose another one, I'll have to say Mike Tomlin. He played a hell of a year this year, coached a hell of a year so far. They was the only undefeated team just about a month ago. So yes, they've been struggling late in the year, but I think Mike Tomlin's had a great coaching year this year. So, but Ron Rivera too, though. I was surprised that Washington even made the playoffs or won the division. So, yeah, but if not Rivera, probably Mike Tomlin.
All right. So now we're going to go to Jonathan. Why is Mike McCarthy your coach of the year?
No. My coach of the year is obvious. It's Ron Rivera. And let me give you sort of detail as a Virginia, for someone who lives in the Bay and Washingtonian right here. It's not only he had to fix the team on the field though, but he has to be the face not only on the field but also off the field though. Like you gotta keep this in mind. Like we had basically been through the most tremendous offseason ever. Like think about it. I could list like 20 things along with that. It's not just the name change and the multiple sexual harassment stuff, and it's just been playing and viewing the franchise for years, the business with the owners, and not only that, he had to battle cancer along with that, and just really just a lot of things going on around our team. They were looking bleak. They were dim. They were felt like just never had gone right. And I think where we bottom, we weren't working. And only that, like even when you start on the field though, he had to take like an ICU in halftime along with it. So I was a little concerned of like, he didn't think he'd get through in right here for the majority of the year. But even after the Dallas game, there's a viral video when he finished coming out of the hospital, just ring that bell.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really a great moment. And on top of that result, he really kind of changed the momentum of the team it is, though. No longer we're going to do a 4-3, we're doing like a 3-4 defense and bring some new coaching staff along with it. And with Scott Turner, Jeff Del Rio, like he really brings some assets along with it, even some assistant coaches, and really bring like a new real culture change to our franchise. I love that. We kind of desperately need for really a long time, even nearly in my lifetime along with it. So yeah, the record's not pretty with 7-9, and I think we're sort of the right step we're doing majority in the future though. So, and not only that, he had to basically work with 3 or 4 QBs though, like stuff with Haskins. He had to bench him all over there. We had it with Kyle Allen like here. Then he gets injured, and even he'll be, and also with Alex Smith, arguably sort of guaranteed comeback player of the year though. Like the fact that we have great things coming around in the coming weeks. Along with that, I have very confidence with him, and the fact that he sort of pulls it off and wins the division out of that drama and along with it on and off the field is fascinating. So I will give him coach of the year. It's not even close.
True. There's a name I don't think any of us came up with that Jacob just came, up with for coach of the year, and that's Jason Garrett. Screwing the Cowboys playoff run when he's not even on the team. Yeah, I agree. Probably going to be the Chargers head coach soon, so he'll screw the Cowboys even more. So now I think we're going to go into the rookie awards real quick. We're going to start out with defensive rookie of the year. I'll start this one off. For a while it was really close. It came down to the guy I'm going to pick and Julian Blackmon. However, I got to give it to Chase Young. I think as, the season was coming down to it, he just started to kind of get that edge over Julian Blackmon. I would still put Julian Blackmon as a finalist. I put him at second, but he didn't make as many plays. Maybe he will this weekend, but he didn't make as much plays as Chase Young did. And Chase Young was a part of transforming that Washington defense into what it is today. Really like Julian Blackmon. If he wins it, I'm not going to complain. He had a really good year, but it's got to be Chase Young. Now we'll go to Steve. Who do you have as your offensive rookie of the year or defensive rookie of the year?
The same thing. It's Chase Young. I think easily. Just the way that what he did with Washington's defense is just, he pretty much not him, but that defense pretty much saved the season for Washington. So, yeah, Chase Young.
Now we're gonna go to Jonathan. Why is your defensive rookie of the year Julian Blackmon?
To be fair, though, actually, Jeremy Chin is a little bit better than Julian Blackmon. No. It's Chase Young. It's not even close. And his impact on the team, though, is really, we already have a stacked defense as it is, but we just need sort of missing that one piece along with it to complete the inner circle in our D line. And Chase Young was a result of that. And just as a rookie, he's becoming the captain of the team now, and deservedly so. Like, he is really in charge of the defense. He's commanding with the group. He does with confidence, ease, and results, and determination, and it gets results. So it is guaranteed. Chase Young.
Okay. Now we're going to go to Bruce. Who is your defensive rookie of the year?
I'm just going to piggyback on what everybody else said. It's Chase Young, hands down, without a doubt. For him to have a command of that defense as a rookie, everyone listening really, he's being a leader, like Jonathan said, already as a rookie is it's crazy. And Washington's defense overall is good, but it starts up front, and that they probably have the best D line in the NFL right now, the way they're playing, and it all starts with Chase Young. So I think he's wreaked havoc all year, and I think he's going to continue to do that in the playoffs, and they're gonna shock the world.
All right. So now we're gonna go to our offensive rookie of the year. We're gonna start with Steven here. Who do you have as your offensive rookie of the year?
Well, this is a tough one for me, but I have to go with Justin Herbert from the Chargers. I mean, he came in a few weeks, in the year, and he just went off. So, and he's been having a hell of a year this whole year, even though the team's been struggling. But I think I was surprised how well he did this year. I didn't think Justin Herbert was going to be that good of a quarterback in the NFL, and he pretty much punched me in the face and said, "Hey, you know what? I'm here to stay." And he's been having one great year, so I got to go with Herbert.
Okay. Now we're going to go to Jonathan. Who is your offensive rookie of the year?
It's actually more tough than people might think because Justin Herbert is great, even though that will be my person be rookie of the year, though. I mean, that offensive rookie of the year. But Justin Jefferson, for me, I think is kind of flown under the radar than a lot of people might think because pretty much they need a sort of receiver for the Vikings right here after they trade stuff on Jason Buffalo. So I think Justin Jefferson not only is a very good need for that, but he did very much a great rookie year right here. So, and I would pick Justin Herbert the same way, and he does a fantastic job along with that Charger team. He did surprise pretty much most of us because people forget when the draft came along. Though people were sort of least enthusiastic with Justin Herbert because some of his arm mechanics that back in Oregon's a little bit more suspect. But the reason with that because Oregon's offensive system is kind of holding him back in some instances. That's what we sort of thought that he might come out as a bit of a bust, but not right now. He is not a bust with the Chargers though. So he becomes a little star franchise quarterback that team needed though. So that would be my choice for rookie of the year.
And Jacob has Justin Jefferson as his offensive rookie of the year, but he believes that Herbert is going to win it. So we're going to bounce over to Bruce. Who is your offensive rookie of the year?
Yeah, this was a tough one for me too.
Is James Robinson a rookie?
Yes, he's a rookie.
Okay, so he'd be up there too. I think he's had a hell of a year too.
Yeah,
put that up there. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah. My apologies.
I thought Steve was gonna be I'm changing my pick. No, it was tough for me too. It came down to two guys, both named Jefferson. Justin Herbert and Justin Jefferson. Man, they both played really great years. Herbert, has a slight edge though. I think he had a really good year with the Chargers. He really grabbed that starting position over, and I think it's just a start for him, man. He's going to get better and better as every year goes on. Justin Jefferson, he had a rough first couple of games, but after he got his feet wet and jumped in there, he's taken that. I think Adam Thielen's a beast, but I think he's the number one receiver on that team right now. He's shown that hey, Stephon Diggs, look what he's doing at Buffalo. Minnesota did not use Stephon Diggs right, and I think they learn from their mistakes, and they're using Justin Jefferson how they should have used Stephon Diggs.
Well, look at who the quarterback is, though. I mean, if you can do with Kirk Cousins throwing the ball, then you must be great. I'm just saying.
Kirk Cousins is not the best, so yeah.
There's no Jeffree Star involved, but yes, he is pulling out the Kanye. For me, I truly believe if he was used like he has been in the last 4 or 5 games, Jonathan Taylor would be Rookie of the Year for offense because he's finally being used a lot more and he's showing how good he can be. But it comes down to Justin Jefferson and Justin Herbert. I'm slightly giving it to Justin Herbert because I feel like Justin Herbert has the bigger impact on the Chargers than Justin Jefferson had on the Vikings. I honestly think if you take Justin Jefferson out, the Vikings might lose a game, maybe 2 more, but I think they're kind of around where they are right now. If you take out Justin Herbert, I think the Chargers lose all but like 2 games, maybe even all but 1. I feel like Justin Herbert is showing at least that he might be the better overall player than Jefferson too. It's really close though, but just because of impact towards the team, I gotta give it to Herbert. If Jefferson wins it, well deserved. But I gotta go ahead and I gotta give it to Herbert. I think both are gonna be studs in the league though. But that's what I'm gonna go with. So now we're gonna go over to just defensive player of the year. Overall, doesn't have to be a rookie. All that good stuff. We're gonna go to Jonathan first. Who's your defensive player of the year?
I'm gonna pick TJ Watt of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he really not only he's the leader in sacks, but he is sort of that anchor currently right now with Pittsburgh. And he is basically the front edge that Pittsburgh was the best part of Steelers defense in many last couple of years. He was always sort of the front end that when they make the Steelers defense great. So defensive player of the year, I picked TJ Watt.
Okay. Now we're gonna go to Bruce. Who is your defensive player of the year?
Yeah, as much as it pains me to pick a Steeler, I think TJ Watt, man, he is the defensive player of the year. He's been killing it all year. They've had a lot of injuries on that defense. Devin Bush was having a great year before he went down. And if he would have never got hurt, he probably would have been in that conversation for me too, because he was having a great year as well. But TJ Watt definitely the anchor of that defense with all the injuries, and I'm gonna have to give it to him.
Okay. So I think it comes down to 3 players, and if any of these 3 wins it, once again well deserved. TJ Watt I think's in there. DeForest Buckner I think is in there, and then who my defensive player of the year is gonna be in there. It's Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, he might not have the most sacks, but that Rams defense runs through him. You take him out, the Rams defense will completely fall apart. Ramsey will still be okay. He's probably the best corner in the league. He can pretty much take on any big receiver, but Aaron Donald, I feel, is more important to that defense than DeForest Buckner is to the Colts and TJ Watt is to the Steelers. I think if you take TJ Watt out, not talking about injuries, everybody's healthy on all these teams. Take TJ Watt out, I think the Steelers, you'll notice a slight difference, but they'll still be a real good defense. Same with the Colts. You take out Buckner, defense will be a little worse, but I still think they'd be okay. But if you take Donald out, that defense, I think, falls apart outside of Ramsey. That man was able to just plow through 3 of Dallas's offensive linemen, just throwing them around like rag dolls. this guy's a monster. Yeah, he didn't lead in sacks, but he's still my defensive player of the year. So now we're going to go to Steve. Who is your defensive player of the year?
I'm the same with you, Matt. I have Donald because, like you said, if you take him out of the defense, the Rams is going to suck. Because that offense is okay. The defense is pretty good, and the reason why they're good is because of Donald always getting triple teamed. Like you said, yeah, he don't have to leave the sacks. It's because he can't get past the line half the time because he has 3 players on him. He makes other players better to how good he is. And I think, like you said, if you take him out of that defense falls apart instantly. So, yeah, it's an easy one for me.
Yeah. And look, I think everybody we picked, they're Hall of Famers. I think they're future Hall of Famers at this point. Aaron Donald's a Hall of Famer. I think TJ Watt's, he hasn't played quite as long. I think he's getting to that. He's a Hall of Famer status, and so is Buckner. But, yeah. So there we go. I think we got through everybody. Did we got to Jonathan, right?
Oh, yeah. I said my pick.
Okay. I thought so. I just wanted to make sure I didn't want to skip anybody on that one. So now we're going to go into our offensive player of the year. This should be fun. We're going to start out with Bruce. I think we started with Bruce first. No? Yes.
It's me, yeah.
Bruce. We're going to go to you. Who is your offensive player of the year?
Okay, so it's between Derrick Henry and Aaron Rodgers. And, they both had really great years. Man, I think what you did with Aaron Donald on the defense is similar to what I'm going to do with the offense. If you take Derrick Henry out of the Tennessee offense, they'll still win some games because they're passing games pretty well. But if you take Aaron Rodgers out of the Green Bay offense, it's totally going to kind of throw off the chemistry. So I'm gonna pick Aaron Rodgers. What season he's had as offensive player of the year.
I'm in the same boat as you. It comes down to Derrick Henry, Aaron Rodgers. Derrick Henry, of course, being one of the 8 running backs to hit 2,000 yards. I thought he broke the record. Ended up being like 100 yards shy from it. My bad on that part. But just like what you said, if you take Derrick Henry out of Tennessee, Tennessee's not winning that division, but Tennessee is still going to win games. I mean, Ryan Tannehill, I think, has played quite well. I think you could potentially throw him up into that MVP conversation. He's been really good this year. But if you take Aaron Rodgers out, the Green Bay Packers are going to just fall apart. You can't tell me Jordan Love would lead that team to a season anywhere near what they had this year. Jordan Love might be really good. Maybe that's who they're going to, go with in the next year or two. But, I mean, you can't tell me he can do what Aaron Rodgers can do right now. It's Aaron Rodgers. It's close, but, Aaron Rodgers should win this award. Because it shouldn't be just, look at the stats. It should be how they impact the team, I think. And his impact towards that team is like, similar to Peyton Manning with the Colts or Tom Brady with the Patriots, especially in those last few years. Take those guys out, that team. And we saw that with Indy. Manning out, 2-14. I think you'd see that with the Packers as well, even though they do have a stud at a receiver with Devontae Adams, and they have – 2 really good running backs too, but it's Rodgers for sure. So now we're going to go to Steven. Who is your offensive player of the year?
Well, this is going to shock some people. Mine is Stephon Diggs from Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
I think he just had a hell of a year. I think Buffalo just had a great year. I was going to pick Josh Allen, but I think the reason why Josh Allen is doing great is just because how good Stephon Diggs is. Mm-hmm. And I think Stephon Diggs really transformed that offense to make them pretty lethal. And they're going to have a great this playoff is going to be great to see how they play together in the playoffs. So I want to see that connection. I think Stephon Diggs had probably since with him getting traded or leaving Minnesota. I didn't think he was going to do anything when he went to Buffalo. But I didn't think Josh Allen was that good of a quarterback. Well. I'll tell you right now, He shut me up and was like, you know what? I'm gonna beat it this year, and he killed it this year. So yeah, I gotta take Stephon Diggs.
Hey, Stephon Diggs, that's a really good pull, I think. I mean, 1,500 receiving yards this year. Guy's legit. So we're going to go to Jonathan. Jonathan, who is your offensive player of the year?
Dwayne Haskins.
I'll be no. So okay. All right. I would pick. That's a more tougher than people may think. I'm a little torn between Derrick Henry or Aaron Rodgers, but knowing the league, they might get the offensive player of the year to Derrick Henry. And personally, I want to see like Derrick Henry get MVP personally because he have a great of a year. And they both, I'll just say both of them have great seasons though. Aaron Rodgers, Derrick Henry, and I want to be mad that Aaron Rodgers might get MVP. So, and Derrick Henry just really did a great job with that Tennessee offense. Like if you kind of Steve said, like if you take Derrick Henry out of that offense, that would have been nothing. Like they don't have majority of an offense without him. So I will be my choice. But the one person I want to give an honorable mention is a little under the radar, Alvin Kamara of the Saints.
Yeah, true.
And the reason I them because they were sort of the majority of their offense carrying the way, even when Breeze is out, and did a fantastic job with it. Even his 6 touchdowns in one game, he previously tied with a record. It's been almost over 90 years too, 90 years. So I thought he did a fantastic job along with that. So that will be mine honorable mention.
True. All right. And hey, I'm gonna call it already right now. Next year's MVP, Jonathan Taylor. Watch out. So now we're gonna go to our MVP. Speaking of MVP, I'm gonna start this off. Anybody can fall into this category, obviously. Defense, offense, whatever. Doesn't tend to be defense normally, so this is definitely an offensive award. It seems like sometimes you might get some of those defensive linemen that get it, like if they're just insane. But for me, again, it comes down to Derrick Henry, Aaron Rodgers, and same thing, Aaron Rodgers. I think when we look at who is more valuable to the other team, I think Aaron Rodgers is more valuable to Green Bay, not just because he's a quarterback, just because of what he means to the team than Derrick Henry is. Derrick Henry, if he wins this, not going to be upset, not going to be surprised. But look, Aaron Rodgers had only, 5 interceptions this year, which is pretty impressive for the amount of times he threw it. He had about a 70% completion percentage, I think even higher. He had like 48, passing touchdowns, a couple rushing. So, he's got rushing, going for him too. But like I said, you take Derrick Henry out of Tennessee. They might not win this weekend, but they're not going to be, awful. They're still going to be a good team. You take Aaron Rodgers off of Green Bay, they're getting the first pick in the NFL draft. So I got to give it to Aaron Rodgers. It's most valuable player. I get it. Alec, for example, is saying, if, Henry doesn't win it, then, it's confirmed that it's a quarterback award. I can see it. Derrick Henry, incredible year, but he's not as valuable to me anyway. He's not as valuable as Aaron Rodgers is to Green Bay. So I'm going to give it to Aaron Rodgers. Derrick Henry should be second in voting, but, that's who I'm going to go with. Now we're going to go to Steve. Who do you have as your MVP?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, I was going back and forth. I would say one thing, then I'm like thinking about it. Then I would say the other person. I have to give it to Derrick Henry, though. I mean, he's just having a great year. I'm surprised how well the year he's had, because sometimes he don't have good games, but this year he's been having like good games every game, it seems like. So I'm surprised how well he did this year. But I think it has to be Henry or Rodgers. But I want Henry to win. I mean, I think they might give it to Rodgers just how well he came back this year
Right.
than how he was last year. So, but I want Henry to get it just because. But I wouldn't be surprised if Rodgers got it though.
Okay. So now we're gonna go to Jonathan. Who is your MVP?
Possible might happen was Aaron Rodgers, but I would have given my MVP award to Derrick Henry. He's basically not only the best running backs, but the most physical, elusive. Well, not elusive, the edge moves right there, but there's no power backs. Like power backs is just boom, you ring through along with it. So, and being the 2000 club does help with that. And when let's take a break from the MVP thing, just give it to a running back for a change. We haven't got sort of like a running back as MVP since Andrew Pearson in 2012, so might be a pool perfect to have part of that. So I would have given my MVP vote to Derrick Henry.
Okay. So now we're gonna go to Bruce. Who is your MVP?
Yeah, it came down to Aaron Rodgers and Derrick Henry, of course. And the more and more I think about it, I keep going back and forth. And it's most valuable player. And like I said, offensive player of the year with Aaron Rodgers. And I said he was the most valuable player to Green Bay. And I think I still stand by that. So I'm gonna pick Aaron Rodgers. I was going back and forth, forever on this. But Aaron Rodgers definitely. I mean, Derrick Henry had a great year. This is probably his most consistent year he's had so far of his rushing career. Like last season, he had a lot of inconsistency with his games. He'd have a really great game, and then he'd have like 3 game slumps. But this year, he was pedal to the metal every game. It seemed like, and I think a lot of that's him. But the coaching, play calling, with Tennessee is definitely great too. So. But yeah, you take Aaron Rodgers out of that team, and they're a totally different team. I think most valuable player is the award. So, with the year he's had and who he is, it's gonna have to go to him. It's only slight edge though. I mean, I could, if like you said, if Derrick Henry wins this award, I will not be shocked at all. I mean,
Right.
he definitely deserves it too. So, maybe they'll give 2 out this year.
Maybe. We'll see. Just break it in half.
Yeah,
Break
yeah,
the award.
break it in half.
Yeah, happens before.
Let's break in half and give a gift card to, their favorite restaurant, restaurant of their choice. But there we go. There is our awards predictions. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into the playoffs. We're going to be talking about all the matchups real quick, giving our thoughts and everything like that. And we're going to go by, when they're scheduled. So the first game that we're going to talk about will open up Wildcard weekend, and that is the Indianapolis Colts as they travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Don't want to forget to put that up there. It's my bad. Forgot to click on that. Anyway, very balanced teams, I think, all around. Could be the best game of the weekend. We'll have to see about that. I'm going to go to Steven. Who do you have in this game and why?
Oh man, this is a tough one. I think like most of the games this week is going to be a very good one. Like a lot of this is good.
Before you give your pick, I do want to throw in there that Cole Beasley and Stephon Diggs are questionable for this game.
Yeah, they're playing. So they don't, especially Diggs. Diggs is going to play easily, I think. I mean, I think Cole Beasley is going to be. He might not play, but I think Diggs is going to play 100%. So, it's just a tough one, man. All these games are going to be tough, I think. But this is probably one of the most intriguing because, like you said, they're 2 balanced teams. They both have good offenses and they both have good defenses. So it's going to be, I think, turnovers is going to be the key. So this is a tough one for me because I'm going back and forth on this one too. I think I picked the Bills. But I might change it, pick the Colts, because I think Phillip Rivers, as a veteran, he's going to be able to get more, has more composure in this game than I think Josh Allen would. I think the jitters is going to come to Allen, and hopefully, like he can calm it down. I think Josh Allen might throw like 2 to 3 picks this game because just how nerve-wracking it's going to be for him. I think Phillip Rivers is going to be more of a, composed and have better, throwaways when he needs to be, not force nothing. I think Josh Allen might force stuff this game. And I think I'm up to the Colts only because of the defense. I think Josh Allen's going to have a lot of turnovers this game. So I'm up at the Colts just because of that.
Okay. So now we're going to go to Jonathan. Who do you have in this game and why?
For me, I would give it to Buffalo because they have the home field advantage. Along with it, they would like some people in the stand for Bills Mafia, and I think they will have a very good game plan and play very more aggressively on offense to the Colts because Indy has a very good defense, but even when you have a very good offense with Jonathan Taylor running back, even Rivers sometimes half his throws can be sometimes a bit suspect at points. So that's the reason maybe the defense of the Bills might capitalize that right here. So I'm actually picking the Bills to beat the Colts.
Okay.
Sorry, Matt.
Now we're going to go to Bruce. Who do you have in this game and why?
Okay, so one question: what does the weather look like this weekend in Buffalo?
It's looking like it's going to be clear.
Okay,
I'll double check, but that's what I thought I heard.
The way I'm looking at it is, I think I had Buffalo, and I was just thinking, I'm like, man, they're both really good. They both really got good defenses.
Mm-hmm.
What is Buffalo? What is Buffalo lacking? And I think the one thing they lack is their rushing attack is not that good. Josh Allen, he runs the ball a lot. That's part of a lot of their rushing attack that they use. But against the Colts, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think he's going to be able to do a lot of that. And like Steve said, he's a, this is his first time in the playoffs, and he's gonna have that pressure added on him. And Phillip Rivers, he's a veteran. He's gonna he doesn't have that. He's gonna be able to work around that. I think the Colts are gonna be able to control the clock because I think Jonathan Taylor will be able to run the ball in Buffalo, and I think that's gonna be the key to the game is the rushing attack difference on either side of the ball. The Colts are gonna be able to control the clock, and Buffalo, Josh Allen's going to turn the ball over a couple times, and they'll probably end up having to play from behind, which they haven't had to do a lot all this year. So when that happens and the pressure gets on them, I want to see how Josh Allen does. He could come out and he could show out like he's been showing out all year, but it's different in the playoffs. This is a different atmosphere, and I honestly think it's going to get to them. They'll probably have a shaky start, and we'll see how it turns out. But I'm going to flip it to the Colts. I think the Colts, they have a good team, and I think this is the year they're actually going to make some noise in the playoffs.
So I did look up the weather. It's going to be 36 degrees. There's a 10% chance of snow. But by the time the game starts, it's going to be 35, 36 degrees. So not the coldest. I mean, it's not warm weather. You're not going to go out there in like a T-shirt and shorts. But still, not the worst. It's nothing that these guys haven't played in before. For me, it's going to come down to something that I don't think any of you guys probably would think, but it's going to come down to, will the Colts show up and score points in the second half? The last few weeks, and it kind of scares me a little bit, but the last few weeks, the Colts will come out, they'll throw up 20 to 30 points, it seems like, in the first half, and then second half, they're completely silent. They'll get a field goal, maybe a touchdown, but it doesn't seem like they score a lot in the second half. We saw that in the Pittsburgh game. They put up 24 points in the first half. It's 24-7 or 24-0. Lost 28-24. Same thing with Houston. Got lucky in those two games with the fumbles at the 2 or 1 yard line, which was crazy. One by Watson, I believe the other was Cook that fumbled it. And then with Jacksonville, started up 20-0 or 20-7, end up winning 28-14. So, will the Colts show up in the second half? That's going to be the question. And I think the other question is, I think what's going to come down to is play calling in this game too. Will they stick to the run when they're succeeding, or will they change it up? I'm going to go the Colts. I think the Colts win this game. I think they're going to run it on Buffalo a lot. I think they're going to have a lot of success with Jonathan Taylor, Naheem Hines, having Marlon Mack in the backfield would have been really nice too. So I think they're going to run real well. And I think Phillip Rivers this year has shown that he can at least control himself and not force those picks or try to force something. He seems to take a shot when he feels like he has a chance to get it. That has hurt the Colts in a couple games, but he has been playing a lot better. T.Y. Hilton has been playing a lot better lately. And the Colts defense, I think I said this before the show started. The Colts defense is good enough to beat the Buffalo offense. Buffalo's coming in hot. I know that, but that defensive line for the Colts is going to apply a lot of pressure to Josh Allen. He's going to be on the run a lot, I feel like, in this game. And I think Rhodes is going to have a pretty good game against Diggs. I think Diggs is going to get, some catches because I'll be shocked if he doesn't play, but he's going to get some good catches. But I think Rhodes is going to hold him from getting, what he would normally get in a game. So I'm going to go Colts win this game. Really good game. But I do think the Colts are going to show up in the second half. And they're going to, say, thank you, Buffalo, for getting us in the playoffs after beating Miami. We got to eliminate you now. So, I feel like they're going to win, and they're going to go to Kansas City, and they're going to play against the Chiefs in the divisional round. So now we're going to bounce over to the NFC. We have the Rams going up against the Seahawks. The Rams are going to have a backup quarterback in because, there's a thumb injury that had to happen by Goff. He had to injure his thumb, so he won't be playing today or Saturday. So we're going to go to Jonathan. Who do you have between the Rams and the Seahawks?
Before I make mine, it still says he's still listed as questionable. He didn't say that he's going to be fully out, though, so keep that in mind.
True.
All right. That being said, I'm actually... This is going to be more a tough game because the Rams might have opportunity to might beat the Seahawks, but even without starting Jared Goff or not. But I'm actually going to pick Seattle because they really improved their defense the second half of the year, which I felt like this been an issue. I feel like the offense, when it gets clicking very good, gets it very well by Russell Wilson. My little concern for Seattle in this game is there's randomly shut down like the first three quarters. In the fourth quarter, they really jump out and keep 20 points fast on you. So that's my little concern for Seattle might be the Rams, but like I mentioned earlier, they started clicking very fast though by the Seahawks. I think they will win this game, so I'm actually pick the Seahawks to beat the Rams.
Okay. Yeah. Now we're going to go to Bruce. Who do you have in this one?
Yeah, it was going to be a tough task for the.
Now it's up there. We got that covered.
It was going to be a tough task for the Rams to beat Seattle with Jared Goff, and I don't think Jared Goff is going to play because that thumb surgery he had. But yeah, man. My question with Seattle is, are they gonna let Russ cook? Because the first half of the season, those first 8 games they played, he was let loose. He was, killing it. And then they kind of went to a more conservative play calling where they did like 70% of running the football. So I think if they let him go out there, still mix it up with Chris Carson, because Carson's a beast, he's gonna get his. But if Russell Wilson plays, playoff mode Russell Wilson, I think this is gonna be a good game. Rams defense is still good, but I think the Seahawks are gonna pull this one out.
Okay. So now it's my turn, and this game is going to be another really good game for sure. The Rams are gonna take Metcalf out. I don't really see DK Metcalf being much of an impact because Jalen Ramsey, like I said, plays really, really good against guys like him and was able to take him out of, I believe, both games. So you're going to have Tyler Lockett Is he going to be able to do enough for the Seattle passing offense to help Seattle get the win? I don't think Goff is going to be playing this weekend. I think he's out. Now, if they win next weekend, maybe he'll be playing. But this weekend, I don't really see it happening. So it's really going to come down to Mr. Unlimited. Russell Wilson, of course. Can he make the plays? Is he going to be able to do his thing? And I think he will do enough to beat the Rams. And he's going to have to do a lot. The Seahawks defense has gotten a lot better. They're finally getting close to what I thought they were going to be. Because they got Adams in that trade. I thought that was going to make them a top, 5 defense. I don't think they're quite there, but they're right around that area. So they're, the Rams really, I don't think are going to do anything offensively. It's going to be a low-scoring game. If you're going to bet on this game, bet on the under. But I'm going with Seattle because I feel like Russell Wilson will do enough to win this game. So now we're going to go to Steven. Who do you have in this one and why?
Yeah, I have the Rams. I don't think Jared Goff being out is a huge issue because the way the Rams play is very short passes, those play action. They set the run up, those play action 5-yard passes to Woods or to Cup or dump off to the running back. So I think any quarterback could do that. So I think it'll come down to the defense, and like you said, Russell Wilson's ability to put points up against this Rams defense. And if he can do that, then Seattle's going to win. But I don't think he will be able to do that. I'm thinking that maybe the Rams can get a few turnovers. Maybe maybe they try to run the ball and they stop them from punts and stuff. And if they just contain Russell Wilson, they're going to be in a great shape in this game because that offense, if they sit the run up and do Sean McVay always does that with Goff. Goff is always, it's a run, play action, pass 10 yards or 5 yards or what it was, and he gains 25 or Cup gains 35. So it's going to be the same type of offense that he always does. And I don't think with Goff being hurt, it's going to affect that in any way. So I have the Rams in this. Very close. Very close.
Okay. So now we're going to go on to our next game. This will close out Saturday, and that is the no-name Washington football team hosting Tampa Bay. Tom Brady, this is his first time ever entering the playoffs as a non-division winner. So this will be interesting to see. We're going to go to Bruce first, though. Who do you have in this game and why?
Okay, how is Gibson's toe looking there, Jonathan?
He practiced well yesterday, a couple of days. Still questionable, but he's looking very good though. So
yeah, I think you're gonna see a heavy dose of Gibson and McKissick. Definitely, he's become a big weapon for that Washington team. It's gonna be very tough. I mean, Washington's defense is gonna have to come up with some turnovers against Tom Brady, but with the Buccaneers not having Mike Evans now, that's going to be a big help for the Washington football team there. And I think that defense is going to come up with a couple turnovers. Alex Smith, he's going to have to play great in this game, which I think he can. McKissick is going to have a big game. He's probably been along with Logan Thomas, probably the X factors on that offense. So I'm going to take Washington. This is going to be a really close game. They're going to have to come up with those turnovers, but Washington in a field goal win.
Okay.
They're going to shock the Buccaneers.
Like you said, Mike Evans is out with that injury, which is unfortunate for him. Tampa Bay finally getting back into the playoffs. Same with Washington, finally getting back into the playoffs. If I'm going to, because this is going to be another really good game, I feel like I got Tampa Bay winning this game. I know I kind of joked and said Washington was going to, but I got Tampa winning because of Chase Young. Chase Young, what are you doing? Don't say, I want you, Tom Brady. Tom Brady hears everything, he takes everything, and he makes you pay. He might turn into Derrick Henry and just plow you over. He might do that tonight. So I love the cockiness. I do. I love the confidence that you have in yourself. But you ended yourself. Tom Brady's going to hear that. He's going, okay, he thinks he's going to do that to me? Okay, fine. 6 touchdowns, 500 yards passing. Look, they got Godwin still. Gronk. Antonio Brown's looking like he's doing some good stuff there. He's still got weapons. He's still got guys to throw to. And Washington's offense, not the greatest. Not bad, but I believe they're 29th in the NFL ranked. Alex Smith, once again, 5-1 as a starter. Good for him. That's good. I love it. Comeback player of the year. That's the reason why I didn't ask, because everybody's going to say comeback player of the year. He had to play one snap, and he's going to win it because of everything he went through. But I got Tampa Bay winning a close game. But Chase Young, what are you doing? You can't do that, man. So we're going to go to Steve. Who do you have in this game and why?
The same thing as you, man. I have the Buccaneers, but I'm not saying close. It's going to be a big old blowout. It's going to be a huge blowout.
Oh.
Like I'm going to give it to. I'm going to have to say like 42-10. I think that the Buccaneers defense is just going to lay into
a slaughter.
that offense, and I think Chase Young's gonna regret what he said because Tom Brady's gonna be throwing all over him, and I think that Tom Brady's gonna be probably his perfect game this year, throwing the ball, and I just don't think that Washington's offense is gonna be able to compete with their defense or anything that Tampa Bay's got. I mean, I know that Washington's defense is good, but with Chase Young talking that crap, I'd be very surprised if they get stopped at all this game. So I have Buccaneers by a lot. Huge. Big.
True. And I do want to say, because I did on Skip Bayless's Facebook thing, I saw something on there. He was talking about Tom Brady and stuff. I did say Washington was going to upset the Bucs, kind of joking around. If we can. There you go. Washington's going to upset the Bucs. And guess what? Somebody laughed. You can't really see it, but that's a laugh. Trust me. It's one laugh. And the guy that laughed at me, he's going to get a shout out today, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen Fisher. He laughed. Don't know you, but hey, thank you for that. We're going to go to Jonathan, though. Who do you have in this one and why?
All right. Okay, look. All right. Let me just say this. Brady's biggest flaw at Tampa is throwing the deep ball. He even has some issues throwing the deep ball. Even the some issues do, but he was throwing that big of the deep ball with that Bruce Arians type of offense right here. Doesn't only throw guys, but it picks up the open defenders along with it. So, and also Tampa Bay's biggest losses, it was against the Saints twice, and one of the major reasons why, because New Orleans front four along with it, he keep blitzing, rushing Brady along with it. So he has been his worst game as a pro based on that. So that's something you need to keep that in mind, though. And I will say this. Washington's key to might pull up the upset is need to focus on getting the ball quicker. It's not just a run game Antonio Gibson or J.D. McKissick. It's just you need to sort of like make a little smart decision, get a little time consuming on the clock. Because the more the Buccaneers have the ball, the more time you get more quicker in these situations. So that's all I can add in with that. So that will be my selection.
Okay. So now we're going to go on to our next game. This is our first game on Sunday, and that is the Tennessee Titans going up against Baltimore. They're going to be hosting the Ravens. It's a rematch of not only this past regular season game, but of last year's playoff matchup where Tennessee just throttled them, smoking them, killed them. And I'm going to start this off. Lamar Jackson is 0-2 in the playoffs. There's a guy, and I know he's going to probably see this at some point, but there's a guy named Wee Hoopin who says Lamar Jackson is the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. Well, sir, Lamar Jackson's 0-2. He ain't the greatest of all time. However, he's not going to be 0-3. I'm going Baltimore in this game. Tennessee's passing defense is not good. It's not a good defense all around. This is probably the worst defense in the playoffs. The only reason why Tennessee is where they're at right now is because of their offense. So, Baltimore has a good enough defense, I feel like, that can slow down the Titans' offense. If you slow down that offense and you can put some points on the board, Cleveland was able to do it, and now Baltimore is going to be able to do it. They're going to get their revenge. Baltimore's going to win, send them packing. Look, Derrick Henry, he had a great year. Ryan Tannehill, he had a great year. Congrats, Tennessee. You won the division for the first time since 1906, but you ain't winning this game. I got the Ravens winning this game by probably 10 or more points. It's not going to be that close. To me, I think out of all the games, the gap as far as, between the winner and loser point-wise is going to be larger in this one. I got Baltimore in this game. It's not because Tennessee is a divisional rival. In fact, if the Colts don't win, I would like somebody in the AFC South to win the Super Bowl, because an AFC South team winning the Super Bowl makes the division look better, which makes us look better at the end of the day. So now we're going to go to Steve. Who do you have in this one and why?
Yeah, same as you. I got Baltimore winning this game. They're on fire as of late. Lamar Jackson is killing it. He's just killing it. And I think they're going to continue to roll. Derrick Henry, like you said, had a hell of a year. But I think the Ravens' defense is pretty good. So I think they're going to be able to stop and make Tennessee pass the ball, which their passing is good. I don't trust Ryan Tannehill. I mean, Ryan Tannehill is good, but I don't trust him throwing it as well as Derrick Henry running the ball. And their offense is very consistent of running the ball. As you can see, the Browns took that huge lead, and they was just, it was over by then. So if Baltimore can just contain Henry, and which I think they will, I mean, containing Henry, what I said be my bet is like 90 yards is containing Henry to me. So if you just get, if it's less than 100 yards, I think that's a good thing for if they can contain Henry. So I have Baltimore winning this. I think it's going to be close, but I don't think that their offense, Tennessee's offense, is going to be able to compete with Lamar Jackson. I think Jackson's learned from last year how well to, throw more than just, more than 10 yards or whatever he threw against them. So yeah, I have Baltimore. I think they're on fire, man. So I have Baltimore.
Okay. Now we're going to go to Jonathan. Who do you have in this game and why?
This is going to be very interesting for this game because Jackson's 0-2 in the playoffs. His starts, people think it might go to 0-3 in the playoffs, but I'm doing a fun little trivia for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Name one potentially future Hall of Fame quarterback that start 0-3 in the playoffs.
Can't think of any.
Any takers?
Peyton, but I mean, I don't think Peyton was 0-3. I think he won a game.
Peyton, yes. Peyton start is. I'm surprised. You're a Colts fan. I thought you might know this because throughout the beginning of his career, Peyton was 0-3 started when he started the playoffs, like 1999, 2000, 2002. Like, go watch like early playoff matchup with Peyton Manning though. He did not look great in those playoff games. But even after that, he managed to not only cut his playoff fears, but evolve the player he was, though.
Yeah.
The same thing with Lamar Jackson, though. Even though the team I wanted to win, I'm actually put Baltimore to win it. I think might break some of the norms. Like the reason I brought that up because I see some little shades of even some great quarterbacks didn't have a good playoff starts though. Like didn't win it right at the bat along with it. So. And that's what sort of Lamar is doing right here. And right now, the Ravens are hot, and they're hungry for more. So I will pick Baltimore to beat Tennessee with this win.
Okay. Now we're gonna go to Bruce. Who do you have in this game and why?
Well, like you guys said, Tennessee's pass defense is not great, and their pass rush is even worse. I don't even know if they have a pass rush, so that's not going to be great against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, because if you were able to give a pass rush on Lamar, he does make mistakes, but if you give him time and you add the fact of the matter that he can actually run the ball, and he's going to be able to sit back there. He's gonna throw the ball to Marquise Brown deep. He's going to give it to Mark Andrews, and he's going to probably have over 100 yards rushing in this game. I can definitely see it, and he's not going to be 0-3. He's going to win. This game is not going to be close because I think the Ravens are going to win by at least 17 points, and that's going to take Derrick Henry out of the game, because they're going to get down early, and it's going to be just like when the Browns played the Titans and they had to throw the ball a lot more with Tannehill. So I think Derrick Henry is still going to get over 100 yards. He's going to break over 100 yards in this game, but it's not going to be a factor in the game. It's going to be the Ravens big.
Okay. So now we're going to get into our next to last game of the weekend, and that is the Saints hosting the Bears in another game that I think is going to be really good. I do want to point out this is something that Sean Payton said, because this game is going to be on Nickelodeon as well as CBS. It's going to be simulcasted. So he was asked about being on Nickelodeon and whatnot, and this is what he said. Hopefully you guys can hear.
Volunteer to be slimed if we win. Thank you.
He officially volunteers to be slimed if they win. So he will take the slime. So, that might want you to pick the Saints. That might make you root for them, so you can see Sean Payton get slimed, like at the award shows Nick does. But I don't think that's going to happen. I got the Bears win. Or, spoiler, we're going to go to Steve. Who do you got and why? I almost screwed it up.
All right, well, we know who you got, but I'm have to go with the Saints in this.
Okay.
I don't know. It's tough because the Bears defense can keep them in the game. Mm-hmm. And I think that Trubisky's been playing well enough the past few weeks, ever since he got, the starting job back. I think he's been playing pretty good. So it's a tough one. But I have to go with the Saints. I think the team's going to be playing great because I think it's probably Drew Brees' last run for anything. I think he's done after this year. So I think they're going to at least get one playoff win. And, because the Saints haven't really been playing good this year. It's tough to say. I just think that the team's going to play good for Drew Brees' last hurrah as a quarterback. So hopefully they can just pull out the win and get one more playoff win under his belt. So I think the Saints are going to pull it out somehow by 3 points. It's going to be close. I don't have no faith in the Saints team this year. They've been playing very subpar than what I thought they would play. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Bears wins this game because their defense is pretty solid. So, but I have the Saints winning by 3 points.
Okay. So now we're going to go to Jonathan. Who do you have in this game and why?
I'm actually a little more different, actually. I don't think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be more than the blood. And I'm going to pick the Saints because, Chicago's defense is good, but let's be honest. The offense needs to carry the way to try to pull out the upset. But even though Trubisky actually played very well the last couple of weeks since he got back, I don't think it would have been enough to help them the victory along with it. So I'm actually picked the Saints to beat the Bears.
Okay. Now we're going to go to Bruce. Who do you have in this one and why?
Well, I am going to take the Bears. And I'm taking the Bears because I think Montgomery, he's found his footing in the offense. They've been using him a lot more. So their rushing attack's been looking better. Trubisky, like you guys said, him coming back, he's been playing well. I think Allen Robinson's going to have a pretty good game against the Saints. And I don't think Kamara's going to score 6 touchdowns against the Bears defense. So I don't see that happening. And I think it's going to be a pretty close game, though. I think I could see it being a field goal touchdown game coming down to the end. Whoever has the ball last type deal. But I think the Bears are going to find a way to pull it out. Maybe Nick Foles will rub some of that magic off on Trubisky, that playoff magic.
Right. Okay. This is potentially going to be game of the week, I think. I think it comes down to this and then our first game with the Colts and the Bills. Mitch has been playing a lot better lately. Montgomery has played really well. And then we look at the Saints side. They have Kamara in this game. And we know what Kamara can do. We saw that against the Vikings. He can put up those numbers if you allow him to. And Drew Brees, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, for a reason. Bye, Steve. For me, though, I'm going to go with the Bears. Reason why I'm going with the Bears is because I feel like Drew Brees, even though he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, there he is. We're going to bring you back. Bam, bam, so it doesn't throw me off. But with Brees, he has been struggling since he came back from the injury, it feels like. He's played better since that first game back, but I don't know if I trust him enough to lead this team to win. They really need Kamara to show up, and the Bears can take out the run game with that defense. They've shown it before. They can do it. So I do think they're going to be able to do a good job against Kamara. It's going to come down to Mitch, I think. I think Mitch is not going to have as good of a game as he normally has because the Saints' pass defense is really good. But I think he's going to play well. I don't think he's going to throw the game. Montgomery is going to get his numbers, I feel like. And just because it's poetic, they're going to win on a game-winning field goal. Whether it's the Bears kicking it or a double doink on the Saints side.
Oh, God.
Going
double doink.
Bears.
And all things. And I'm very curious, are we going to watch on Nickelodeon just out of curiosity?
Oh, yeah. They're going to go on Nickelodeon, and it's going to be Slime, but not on Sean Payton, but it's going to be on Mitch. Mitch is going to get slimed in this game. They're going to give him that, Nickelodeon Movie Awards trophy, the little, balloon thing. That's what they're going to give him. That's your Nickelodeon MVP, and that's how it's going to be. So now we're going to move on to our last game of the weekend, and it is the Pittsburgh Steelers playing against the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are back in the playoffs for the first time since, I believe, 2003. Pittsburgh has been in the playoffs many times.
Can I go first on this one because my phone's at 2%?
Yeah, we'll let you go. So,
all right.
We'll let you go.
All right. So, yeah, sorry about that, guys. My phone's at 2%. Hopefully this finishes out. I'll do this pretty quickly. I got to go with the Brownies because I think they're very confident being the first time in the playoffs. I think the Steelers is probably I don't know. They're talking a lot of smack to the Browns, and I think that Baker Mayfield's and the whole team's taking that personally. So I'm going to have to go with the Browns. It's going to be close. Hopefully Big Ben throws some turnovers against that defense. Hopefully Garrett gets to him and sacks him a few times. It's going to be a tough game regardless. But my heart's saying the Browns, so I have to go with the Cleveland Browns. All right. That's it, guys. I think my phone's about to die, so I appreciate you guys having me on here. Matt, John, B, I'll see you later. You guys take it easy. And hopefully this weekend turns out good.
Yep. See you later.
Go Browns.
So now we're going to go to Jonathan. Who do you have in this game and why?
You two keep mentioning the other games might be game of the week, but this is maybe the game of the week. And I think some people kind of underselling the importance of this game, though, because I think you as a Browns fan kind of know the sort of the stakes in that game. Not only is a playoff game, but remember the last time you played in a playoff game. I think you kind of remember that you're talking about. Like, it was against the Steelers the last time around. You had the lead back then, but you kind of blow that lead along with it. So you're not back there since. And also, this might be a close game. It's going to be a more close game. It depends who gets the ball last. And this is going to be on the main broadcast Sunday Night Football along with it. So this is going to be a sort of a huge game. Going to pull the big upset is going to Cleveland, even without Stefanski helping with the sidelines is right here is our own concern. But I think like Steve said, that was a little bit more the confident. They're more ready this time around. They're more ready, more confident this time around at Pittsburgh on here, and they're hungry and they want it badly. So it's going to be a close game. I'm going to pick the Browns to win it, and you guys deserve it.
Okay. So now we're going to go to Bruce. I don't know who he's going to go with. I think he's got the Steelers, but we're going to make sure. Who do you have in this game and why?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a close game. Regardless, there are rivals for a reason, and I can't stand Pittsburgh, so I wouldn't want to go against anybody else in the playoffs because it only just seems fitting. But yeah, I'm going to take the Browns in this one. It's going to be a close game, like I said. Garrett, he's going to have to get some pressure in there. Myles Garrett's going to have to bring the pain on Big Ben. Juju already talking that smack like he always does. Classic Juju. But I want our defense to show up, maybe get a couple turnovers. We want more, and I can definitely see that in Cleveland. They want it more. Baker's going to have a consistent game. It's going to hurt not having Stefanski there on the sideline, but it's still he still has his foundation there. When you have Nick Chubb, and speaking of Nick Chubb, he's going to have 30-plus touches in this game, which I think he will. And there was a reason why you didn't see a lot of Nick Chubb when we faced the Steelers last game, because Stefanski said for that reason he was saving him for this moment. So he's going to be a workhorse, and I think we're going to take it. We want more, and we're gonna show it to everybody. The Browns are here, and we want to make some noise.
Okay. So I'm on a completely different side than you guys. I got the Steelers in this game. I gotta be honest, just going by history, as far as what happened this year and whatnot, I just feel like the Steelers are gonna win convincingly. No. It's in Heinz Field. They, last time they played this year, in Heinz Field, I believe it was in Heinz Field, Steelers won very comfortable. Now, granted, they are missing some defensive players, that they had in that game. But I feel like Big Ben is going to be able to get his numbers on that defense. And it's a good defense up front. I think Ebron, even though I can't stand the guy, he's going to get the ball a lot in this game because I feel like the Browns struggle more against defending the tight ends on the pass.
Linebackers suck.
I think Ebron's going to do it because Ebron, if he can hold on to the ball, because he drops the ball a lot. He did it in Indy. He did it in Detroit. The only reason why he's having a good year this year is because he has a good quarterback. We saw if Big Ben's gone after this year, Ebron, he's going to have a bad year. He's going to cry, and he'll be on a different team. We saw that with the Colts. Had Andrew Luck, had a great year. Completely changed everybody's thoughts on him because when he was in Detroit, laughing stock. He was people thought he was a pretty bad tight end. Came in, had a great year with Luck. Then we had Brissett. Didn't have that great of a year. Didn't get the catches he wanted. Cried, complained, left, went to Pittsburgh. And now we know what it is. But Big Ben's probably going to retire after this year, if I'm going to guess. So he'll have Mason Rudolph. He won't get, the catches he normally does. He'll cry, complain, and then he'll go on like the Patriots or something, and then, repeat, rinse and repeat. But I think Juju, he's talking a lot of smack. I don't think he's a great number one receiver. I think if you had somebody like an Allen from the Chargers, um, anybody that's like a great number one receiver. Juju's a fantastic number two guy. So he's going to get his numbers. Chase Claypool, he's going to have a big game, I feel like. The run game isn't going to be the greatest, I don't think, for Pittsburgh. I think Cleveland definitely is going to win when it comes to the run game. It's going to come down to, I think, Baker and Big Ben, who's going to have the better game. And I feel like Big Ben's going to have the better game, although Baker has played better without OBJ, which should tell Cleveland, get rid of OBJ because Baker will play better. We saw that his first year, didn't play great his second year, didn't really play the greatest his third year until OBJ was gone. And now look at him, looking better. So I got Pittsburgh in this game. I don't think it's necessarily going to be the closest. It's not going to be a blowout by any means, but I'm thinking around a 7-point win for Pittsburgh because of the guys Pittsburgh's missing compared to when they first played this year. Because didn't they win by like 14 or 21 points that first time around?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think those two guys are going to make a big difference for the Steelers defense, and it's going to impact them a lot more than what you would expect. So I got Pittsburgh, 7-point win for Pittsburgh. Cleveland, I think they're on the right track. This is a win for them alone, making the playoffs. Now they get to build on it, and I think we can expect them to be in that, running to not only make the playoffs, but maybe win the division next year. We'll see what Baltimore does next year, though, because a lot of people had them winning the division. Not me. I didn't have Baltimore winning the division. I was right about that. So, we'll go from there. So, before we go, I do want to, and I was going to include Steven on this too, but his phone was on 2%. So I felt like we didn't have enough time to do this. Super Bowl matchup predictions. We know who's in the playoffs. We're going to give our predictions real quick for who we think is going to be in the Super Bowl and who we think is going to win the Super Bowl. And I'm going to start with Steve on this one. Or Steve. Fucking A. Bruce, I'm going to start with you. Who do you have going to the Super Bowl in AFC and NFC, and who do you have winning it all?
Oh man, it's tough. I'm probably gonna have to take Kansas City, they look crazy good, like they always do. I'm gonna take Kansas City and Green Bay Packers, even though that's the most obvious choice. But right. they're both playing great right now, and I just don't see anybody that, even though it's going to be a great playoff this year, I think there's a lot of well-rounded teams. I think they're just, both of those teams are on a different level. So right. I think Green Bay and Kansas City in the Super Bowl, and who wouldn't want to see that? I think that'd be a great Super Bowl to watch.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes going back and forth. I mean, that'd be great to see.
Would be.
Super Bowl prediction for me, Buccaneers and Chiefs.
All right, I got Steve. Steve just told me who he thinks. Hey, what's up, Steve?
Hey.
Steve got the Buccaneers and the Chiefs.
Okay. And who do you guys have winning your matchups?
Oh, who do you got winning, Steve? Oh, he got the Buccaneers taking the whole thing. Wow.
Okay.
All right, and I'm gonna take the Chiefs against the Packers. I just think they got too many weapons. Their defense is playing better than they did last year, and I just think Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, he's the real deal, and he's already proven that in his short career that he's had. So,
look, if any team was going to host the Super Bowl, it would be Tampa Bay. First time it would ever happen. Of course, Tom Brady would do that. I thought, Indy was going to go to the Super Bowl when they were hosting it, but Peyton Manning had to get hurt, so there was that. But not bad picks at all from you guys. For me, I'm gonna go Green Bay for the NFC going to the Super Bowl. In the AFC, because storylines seem to, be a big factor when it comes to like who goes to the Super Bowl and who wins and all that stuff. It's always storylines. You know, when we go back and we look at history, the storylines are something that we definitely see. So I have Green Bay going to the Super Bowl, going up against the Colts. Not being biased here, I swear. I mean, you know, Chiefs I think is a good pick, but Kansas City these last couple weeks has struggled offensively. It's looked like they've been able to flip a switch and then win a game, but they have struggled. So I feel like that might actually end up hurting them. Um, they're saying they're trying new things. I don't know if I buy that. That you know that might just be their way of trying to get everybody to stop talking about it. But the reason why I have the Colts going to the Super Bowl is because of the storyline of Rivers finally getting to the Super Bowl. He hasn't done it yet. Top 5 in passing touchdowns and yards. He's in the top 5, you know, out of the top 5, you know, players on both. He's the only one who doesn't have a Super Bowl. He's never gotten there. That would be a storyline I think that you could see Aaron Rodgers, Phillip Rivers, 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks going at it. And you know, like I honestly with the NFC compared to the AFC, I feel like the NFC isn't quite as stacked with talent. Um, and then also like Tampa Bay, I think Mike Evans being out is going to hurt them. Of course, it would be Tom Brady. There's another storyline for you: Bucks, Colts. Phillip Rivers couldn't get to a Super Bowl because of Tom Brady. He's going to have to, you know, win a Super Bowl against Tom Brady. You know that'd be the guy. You know, that'd be a storyline you could use for there, and that's why I have Colts winning the Super Bowl because it would be the storyline would be Rivers finally got his ring, going out with a ring, kind of like Peyton went out with that Super Bowl ring, even though he won one in the past. He had to go out on top. I feel like that's a storyline we're going to see with Rivers, plus top 5, you know, quarterbacks as far as touchdowns and passing yards. You know, you would want them all to have a Super Bowl. I think that's going to be the case. Although Patrick Mahomes, it's going to be in the top 3 when it comes down to it. He's probably going to end up being number 1 in touchdowns for a career, same with yards. So, putting my bias aside, I got Colts, Packers, and Colts winning it. Like I said, I feel like the Colts are the most balanced team. You know, I feel like that plays for their advantage too, and it seems like they're getting hot at the right time. So now we're going to go to Jonathan. Who do you got in the Super Bowl, and who do you got winning it?
Taking bias aside, I'm going to pick the Green Bay Packers representing the NFC, but the AFC was going to surprise some people. The Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
The reason what's that?
There's another storyline too for Buffalo.
Yeah, and more deeper than you may think because we're looking at Green Bay because 2020 season, before it starts, we all know sort of Green Bay draft Jordan Love, and even though Aaron Rodgers is not mad with it, maybe it tells us maybe decided maybe to work hard that he's never been in his career. So that's the reason he might get an MVP again because the work hard he's ever done in his career, though. It's not like pissed off Aaron Rodgers, but happy Aaron Rodgers can be dangerous, more dangerous. And I think like if Green Bay wins it, they was not only cemented Rodgers as arguably greatest all time, I hear, but sort of just cement like I finally was like a Super Bowl ring. Then like this is what people forget. It's been almost like 10 years since last time Rodgers has been to the Super Bowl. Like it's been like 10 years since the last time he'd been back. So that was sort of my reasoning. For the AFC, I'm picking a team that's sort of on the rise right here. And also a quarterback that look some of the stats is almost a little bit bigger than Mahomes' stats. Like if you really look at it. And not only that, because it's really sort of a team that overcomes a lot. And like from us, the history of Buffalo, like they had nothing sort of been cheer about for years. But the last couple of years, they have really a great fan base along with it with Bell's Mafia. And if you watch many, many videos about tables matches and all their Toga's stories, they were sort of like deserving to get into a championship. So, and also it's been like 30 years since they've been to their first Super Bowl ever, like even in the same city at Tampa. So I thought it's sort of like the young buck versus the old timer of Josh Allen versus Aaron Rodgers Super Bowl 4 at Tampa, Florida. And winning it actually is going to surprise the people. I put the Bills to beat the Green Bay Packers in the Super Bowl. Like Buffalo's going to shock the world, is going to shock the NFL, basically, like win their first championship, and really kind of showed like we're legit and we're here to stay.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, another great storyline. Finally getting it after 4 appearances and losing all 4. So, maybe the 5th time is the charm. So, there we go. All right. I think that's going to do it. Before we go, I'm going to figure out where we can find you guys. So, we're going to go to Jonathan first. Where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at jetpet98, 1098. Sorry. And also, you can find my Instagram, Jonathan Pack. And you can see me my faces somewhere in many areas. So that's all I can say about that. So thank you.
Okay. Now we're going to go to Bruce. Where can the people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on here, chilling with you guys. Jack of all trivia, TMG trivia. Also on Twitter at That's BS Podcast 1. Me and my brother Steve. We host a movie podcast talking everything about movies. We haven't done it in a while. We took a little break, but we're going to be catching back up on some movies here. So, yeah, check it out.
Okay. Probably should add me and click to remove instead of putting me on full screen. There we go. You can find me on here doing this show. We're going to have a show next week for sure, unless like some very, very important family things come up. That'd be the only way that I wouldn't be able to appear. However, seems like we're past all that stuff, so I will be on pretty much any week. So we'll have a show next week. We'll recap, the matches this weekend as far as going into next week and talking about some of those matches as well as some other news and whatnot. And then you can find me on After Dark. I'm on After Dark and whatnot. And me and Alan Shepard may or may not have something coming for you guys real quick. So yeah, there we go. Thank you all for watching. I've been Matt. That's been Bruce. That's been Jonathan. And Steve was here too. We will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.